Okay, so yesterday I got a chance to watch The Acolyte. So I'm kind of behind on this one. I do apologize, but I want to give my thoughts on it. Just kind of have a discussion on The Acolyte in general and my thought process going into this. I've been trying to avoid everybody's videos online because the discourse around this show it already boiled over before the show even debuted on Disney Plus. And that's something I'm just kind of, as someone who is trying to enjoy movies and media, and that would even trickled into video games, especially around the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff and the Assassin's Creed Shadows. I will sit and fully admit that yes, I do feel like a lot of outlets, whether it's in different types of media, film, video games, whatever, they do have a social politic agenda behind it. But at the same time, I feel like agendas and stuff has always been around media since the beginning. It's how you incorporate the messages that you're telling. There's always been messages and everything, going back to music and movies, everything, even books, all that stuff has always had the creators giving a message of what they believe and stuff like that. It's how it's incorporated into the media or medium that you are putting out there for the world. That's the thing. If they're hitting you over the head with it, it's like, come on, whatnot. But I do feel like there's a very, very large a large place in the world today where we do see where Western developers are making female characters less attractive in video games, and they're also making female characters less attractive in movies and shows and all that stuff. We do see that sort of thing. We see them pulling the LGBT community and all that stuff. So the discourse around this show going in has already just kind of tainted anything. So I wasn't super excited to see this show. Like, I was like, oh yeah, like I didn't even realize it came out this week. It wasn't until a friend hit me up on Facebook like, hey, The Acolyte came out this week. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it wasn't something I rushed to go do right away in the day. It was like, okay, I'll wait till later on, wait for my wife to come home. We'll sit down on the couch before I got to go to work, and we'll watch the first two episodes. It wasn't like Ahsoka where I was like, I have to watch this at, whatever time it comes on, midnight, 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever it comes on, I have to watch it. It wasn't one of those shows. So, needless to say, all the discourse, I went into it very, very skeptical. So, I sat down, watched the first two episodes, and I have to tell you, I really thoroughly enjoyed myself. I really liked the first two episodes. As someone who is a Star Wars fan, this is sort of what I've been wanting this entire time. Now, please take this with a huge grain of salt, because they can easily fuck this up by the end of this 8 episodes, series that they're doing, because they can easily like the story could just they completely just drop the ball with the story. We've seen that plenty of times, especially in the MCU and Star Wars in the Disney Plus stuff. Secret Invasion started off really hot. It kind of petered out toward the end. We saw the same thing with Ahsoka. Ahsoka was really good, kind of petered out to the end. Book of Boba Fett just petered from the very first episode. It just sucked donkey nuts from the very first episode. But we've seen like Echo, I thought, kind of petered out. I mean, there's just a plethora, a handful of different things on Disney Plus where it feels like it started off good and then it just kind of petered out because they hire people that don't know how to write television. And again, this is another instance where this person, I believe, I don't remember her name, I'm trying to look it up, but she was basically she was Harvey Weinstein's like number 2 in line or whatever, and she, a lot of the discourse is going around with her basically putting her agendas in and all that stuff. So there's a lot of discourse around here, and like I said, I don't know, I haven't followed this lady, so I'm not entirely sure if she wrote television before, but I really feel like the fact that they refuse to get television writers and showrunners is the reason why a lot of this stuff kind of peters out toward the end. But we're gonna have to wait to find out with the Acolyte. Right now, we can only judge on the first 2 episodes, and I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes quite a bit. And I'm gonna get into the reason why I enjoyed the first 2 episodes. Yesterday, I called my friend Danny from Storms Live, and I said, "Yo, Danny, what do you think of the Acolyte?" And he's like, "I don't hate it. I didn't love it either. I kind of, it's okay." And I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of really liked it." And we were talking about what we liked and what we disliked about it. And the one moment in our conversation where I just kind of like slapped my head, like just face palmed and rolled my eyes was, yeah, we're theorizing that her master's Darth Plagueis. And I'm like, why? Why does people continue to do this? I don't understand why people continue to do this. As I was talking to Danny, I said the one thing I really loved about this first 2 episodes and about this series so far is that we are so detached from everything that we know from Star Wars. Like we're so far from the Skywalker saga. Like we're so far from all of that stuff. And it's so refreshing. And I like it because I get to watch this show and get to know these new characters in this new time frame and get to follow these characters without any expectations of R2-D2 showing up, C-3PO showing up, or any of these other characters. It's completely different cast of characters set like 100 and something years before the events of what we know in Phantom Menace. So it was so great. Like as much as I like Ahsoka and Mandalorian and all that stuff, and they all have their own problems, I am so tired of being stuck in this time period. I like the fact that we have all new characters, and we are so separated from everybody else that we can just tell stories and not have to worry about people nitpicking, going, well, this doesn't make sense because this doesn't make sense and this doesn't make sense. And I'm so happy that we're so far away from that. And yet I had this conversation with my friend Danny, and they put expectations on finding people that are related to people that we know. And I'm like, can we not just enjoy a series that has a brand new cast of characters that are giving us something completely new? One thing I really enjoy about Star Trek was, Next Generation for the most part was completely different than the Kirk stuff. Voyager, like they were all based in different time frames. We had Voyager, Deep Space Nine, Discovery, Strange New Worlds now. Like what I really like about Star Trek is they continue to have these great series through that are connected because they're in the same universe, but yet they're so far away that you don't have to worry about why isn't Kirk showing up in Voyager and all this stuff. And I really want that for Star Wars. I like the fact that we're getting a series with a whole nother cast of characters that we don't know anything about. Let me fall in love with these characters. And then give me a continuation. Give me a season 2, season 3, season 4. Do like Star Trek does, where you have like these shows. And that's what I really liked about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was all these new cast of characters that they lived in this world, but it didn't revolve around those characters. It didn't revolve around Spider-Man and Iron Man, all those. It was about the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they live in this world. And we got to follow those characters for like 5 or 6 seasons. That's what I want. I want Disney to do more of that. Give me good television of characters with good stories, and give me multiple seasons to fall in love with these characters. Let these characters develop, right? Let these characters in the Acolyte develop. Give us multiple seasons, 4 or 5 seasons of these characters. But I automatically facepalmed when he's like, yeah, we're theorizing on my channel that Darth Plagueis is her master. And I just facepalmed. Like, why? Even when we have characters that are completely separate from anything in the Star Wars saga, and we're going way back when, you guys continually have to plant things that into this. Like I was like, why? Like, no. One, I'm telling you right now, it's not Plagueis, right? And the thing is, it sets up this unreal expectations. I don't know why people just can't sit back, watch what's in front of them, and enjoy it. Why does people have to automatically break things down and go, yeah, I think this is gonna happen, and then we get into a whole like I remember watching my buddy Gaskar's weekly show on Ahsoka. And it didn't make any sense when these people were prediction shit. They're like, who do you think? Like, I remember one episode of Gaskar's show, they were like, yeah, man, I think in the final episode, Luke Skywalker's gonna show up. I'm like, that makes no fucking sense. No sense at all. Like, why Luke Skywalker would show up. It makes absolutely zero sense. And they were just predicting all kinds of weird stuff. And I'm like, look, I understand you guys are casuals. You don't follow the deep lore and all this stuff, but it doesn't make sense. And for Plagueis to show up, does this time period fit within Plagueis? Sure. But the guy that they showed in the first episode or second episode, that's her master, he has like a short head. He's wearing a helmet. When he moves, you can kind of see that it looks like a feminine character. And first of all, if you know anything about Star Wars lore, Darth Plagueis is a Mun. He's an alien form, an alien species called a Mun. They are very tall, very slender, has a very long head, and the person that was in that armor, that was in that helmet, was very humanoid. So right there tells you, well, no, it's definitely not Darth Plagueis. And why would Darth Plagueis even fit into this story? Like, can we not just have, can we have nice things? This is why we can't have nice things, because people constantly have to try to theorize shit, and then when it doesn't happen the way they want it to happen, oh, it's absolute trash. And that bothers me more than anything. It's like, stop theorizing, right? And then as I'm talking with Danny, I'm like, Danny, that doesn't make no sense. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it's not Darth Plagueis. Tell your friends on the other stream not to get their hopes up, because Darth Plagueis is this alien species named the Mun. They're taller, slender. They were introduced as a separatist, or one of the alien species was introduced as a separatist and Attack of the Clones. We also saw him again in Revenge of the Sith. So it's not Darth Plagueis. So just tell your friends in the other stream that that's not it. So don't get their hopes up. And then he's like, do you think we're going to see Yoda? And again, I facepalm. Why do you keep asking or wanting to get these characters in it? And I understand you're in the YouTube space. There's people like Star Wars Theory and Star Wars Explained that makes a living predicting this shit. Okay? But to me, it ruins the excitement of anything. Right? Like, once Luke Skywalker showed up at the end of Mandalorian Season 2, it's like people just predict every fucking thing, whether it makes sense or not. Yes, it makes sense that Yoda will be there, because Yoda is like, what, 900 years old by the time of Return of the Jedi. So time frame, yes, it makes sense. Why do we have to see it? The Jedi Order is a big ass fucking place. We don't need to see Yoda. So it just kind of bothers me where I'm trying to have a conversation and people are all already, after 2 episodes, are trying to find out, or trying to predict and theorize, oh, this character's connected to this character. Like, can we just watch it? Can we just watch the shit and enjoy it? Can we enjoy these new characters and let them tell this story that we're on, rather trying to sit there and predict Darth Plagueis is in there for some fucking reason, which makes no goddamn sense? This is one reason that I really stepped away from the YouTube community, do less videos, and really, because people drive me nuts with this shit. They really do. Like, oh, Rob, you predict this is gonna happen. You predict this is gonna happen. Like when WandaVision came out, LDG was looking at the wallpaper and like, oh, it's Mephisto. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Just watch the show. Take it one episode at a time. Whatever happens, happens. And that's really it. So I really did enjoy this first 2 episodes. One thing that I really enjoyed was the music. I thought the music was phenomenal. They did a really good job of not stealing John Williams' themes, but making it feel like Star Wars music. This I feel is the closest to Star Wars music that I have seen in Star Wars, these Disney Plus series so far. Like there was melodies when like the spaceships or she's using the force and all this stuff. There are melodies of what feels like Star Wars music. I love the score so far. I like the action. I like the characters. I like the twin idea. Obviously, there's some shady stuff going on with the Jedi Council and that green chick and all that stuff and the twins and the mother. Like there's a bunch of shady stuff going on, and I'm just down for the ride. I really am. I'm just down for. I'm saying that almost as a casual. Like okay, I'm down for the ride. You show me. My only really nitpick of the first 2 episodes was the Yord character, Yord, whatever his name is. He just feels out of place. I don't know. He's just kind of out of place, right? I don't know if he's supposed to be like this uptight guy who's like, it's all by the Jedi code. Like we're doing everything by the Jedi code, by the Order code, and all this stuff. I don't know. He just comes off out of place. When you look at him and you look at everybody else, I don't know. Maybe he's still very new at acting. I'm not sure. I didn't check his resume. I didn't check his IMDb. Maybe he's really new at acting. We all know his Star Wars lore sucks because he said Anakin destroyed the Death Star. So we know he doesn't know shit about Star Wars. But I'm judging him on his character and his performance. And he just feels kind of stiff, kind of like he belongs in a different show. But maybe that's all for a reason. Maybe he's shady. Maybe he's doing something. Or maybe he's just one of those uptight, I go by the book on everything. And that's just the way he is. Not entirely sure. But he's the one thing that sticks out right now as not bad, just odd. He just feels a little odd. But that's sort of the thing. But I like the whole murder mystery thing. I like how the obvious is pointed out, super obvious. It's like, well, obviously it's her twin. Obviously she has a sister. Obviously it's her twin. And then like in the second episode, they're like, yeah, she has a sister. She has a twin. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's not the mystery part. So I'm glad that the mystery part is unraveling and they're stating the obvious instead of making the fans sit there and go, I wonder if it's Darth Plagueis, No, it's like they're stating the obvious. You know what it is. And now you just got to know why. Obviously, the Jedi Order had something to do with something because Homeboy was willingly to take the poison. You don't take poison unless you're high to something. You don't take a vow of silence for like over 10 years unless you did something. So obviously, there's something that's going from the past that's going to haunt them, that's going to be revealed, which is super awesome. So I like that aspect of it. I think the aesthetic of the show, I really like the aesthetic. It feels very much like a Star Trek series. It doesn't have that cinematic feel like Ahsoka or Andor has. It has like a network television feel to it. And that's not bad. Like I love network television. You look at it has like a Star Trek Discovery feel to it. Like it's kind of cleaned up, doesn't have a lot of film grains, like clean and slick. I like that. Establish something different. I really enjoy it. So I went on for almost 20 minutes now. My throat's actually starting to hurt, kind of crack a little bit. But first 2 episodes I thoroughly enjoyed quite a bit. I'm down for the ride of what they're establishing. I want to see more stuff like this from Marvel and Star Wars. Give me new characters outside of what's going on. For Star Wars, I like the idea of putting it way back there, away from everything else, even though you do have apparently some people out there that's like, it's Plagueis, and it's just like, does anybody ever research this shit before they say stuff? I'm just saying, I still remember that Gascar stream. I was in the live chat. I was like, it's not Luke. Doesn't make sense for it to be Luke. Why would Luke be there? And someone else said some other crazy shit. I'm like, that doesn't make no sense either, so it is what it is. I guess fans are going to speculate. It's all good fun, but I really think everybody should just take it for the merits that you're seeing it. Keep your expectations in check because just enjoy the show one episode at a time. Don't worry about the reveal of something. Let them tell you the show, because if you're thinking that The Rock is going to show up at WrestleMania and then you see the Undertaker, it's a bad analogy, okay? But I'm like everybody expected Stone Cold to show up at WrestleMania, right? And then the Undertaker showed up, and you're like, that's what I'm saying. Don't expect Darth Plagueis to show up. Don't expect Mace Windu to show up. Don't expect, Luke Skywalker to show up, and then when they show the reveal, you're disappointed because you've had your expectations too high. Let the story tell the story, okay? Just because something makes timeline sense that Darth Plagueis is in this universe, he's alive here somewhere in this time frame, same as Yoda, doesn't mean they have to show up in this show. They're doing their own thing, guys. Darth Plagueis has his hands full, all right? Just calm down, guys. Yoda's probably doing his hoe phase right now out there, hitting Yaddle and all this stuff, making little Grogu's, Yoda's in his hoe phase. So y'all need to keep your expectations in check. Let's watch the next 6 episodes without trying to predict and theorize who's going to be in what. And I think we should be good. But anyway, I like the first 2 episodes. Fuck the haters. My thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out, sauerkraut. This was a long-ass video. Later, guys.